All right. So welcome everybody to our final chapter of YGYU University, Getting Started Right. And this is the final culmination of it all. We're going to cover steps 6, 7, and 8 this evening. And step 6 is helping people get started right. And so this is all about teaching people how to do the right activities when they get started. And you'll notice that a lot of what we're covering are things that we've kind of covered already. That's why we kind of wanted to put this together in one final chapter of our training. So the first part, of course, is experience the product. Find your passion. You want to pick the product that is going to resonate best for you. And everyone has their own opinion about what that is. And it doesn't matter. You can be really excited about the 90 for life. You could be really excited about the jewelry. You could be really excited about the mineral makeup. It doesn't really matter. But whatever it is, find that passion for you, but keep in mind that everyone that you meet could have their own passion. So know enough to be able to share with others, have that ability to express what to do to point them in the right direction and say, I have the right thing for you. If someone is just interested in the services about helping businesses, small businesses get the David Allen Capital loans, that's terrific. We love it. We recommend it. We just want to make sure that you have the ability to share that with others. And then step 2, of course, is developing your why and having a commitment and goals. And this has to be more than just wanting to help people. It has to be something that's going to get you up every morning, to get you impassioned and excited to want to get out there in the world and do good. Think about it as a strong commitment and keeping a promise to yourself. And that's really important. So the why about you, we all have families. Maybe all of us have children, or many of us have children. We have people that we care about, but you got to have that deep feeling about what is important, that the reason why you're doing longevity, what is it that you need? And it is honorable, your intentions to help other people. And that can be a great boost in your why. But you must have purpose. You've got to find your own personal purpose. So I want you to have that strength. And step 3 is create your prospect list. And remember, never prejudge. Everyone gets on that list. And don't ever, ever take them off that list until they've told you no. Okay, and a lot of times that no means not now. So some of those people you have to keep loving on until they're really understanding, because remember that it can take 5 exposures or impressions before someone either buys or joins. And it can take 5 to 12. And so don't give up on people, right? You'll keep going. Step 4, of course, is start sharing and inviting. And Yolanda and Raymond Brown did a beautiful job with explaining this entire portion of this training. And they have something called a happy, healthy hour. Do whatever you need to do to create excitement, to create an atmosphere for people to want to get involved with you in the business. But keep in mind that everybody doesn't qualify for this business, right? You need to make sure that they can all be qualified as product users, but they may not all want to build a business, and that's okay, because truthfully, the business runs on the volume that is generated by the use of product. So keep that in mind. If somebody says, I really don't want to do the business, I'd like to try your stuff, but it's not necessarily my thing. Let them see what happens to them by using the product. Let them create their own testimony, because sometimes by default, those naysayers that don't want to join the business become the best business builders, because people trust them and they'll say, I know you. You're not the kind of person that would jump into a venture like this. And if you're excited about it, if you've seen a difference, then I'm willing to come in too. So keep that in mind. They recommended a couple of books, How to Sell Network Marketing Without Fear, Anxiety, or Losing Your Friends by Michael Oliver. I haven't read that book. Have you, Marianne? No, not yet, right? And then she recommended another book, A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, and A Key to Yourself by Denise Bloodworth. Have you read either of those?
I haven't read any of those.
See, so these are all things.
I know they've got a whole nother list there. So yeah, I've got those written down.
Exactly. So I think those are good things to happen. And then after we go into the start sharing, inviting, the next thing, the old story, the fortune is in the follow up and ask questions. And they talk about the follow up is so important within 24 to 48 hours. And they talked about a bell curve that in that first 24 to 48 hours, people are very interested. From 48 to 72 hours, their interest is waning, meaning it's getting less and less, and 72 hours and more, they land in the land of skepticism. And so they begin to not really want to do this anymore. So it really does behoove you to be responsible and follow up with people quickly to find out what it is they liked best. Remember those good questions, not call up, did you like the video? No, what did you like best? And whatever they said, great, I like that too. Agree with them no matter what the circumstances. They also talk about being a great listener versus a great talker. Of course, that's what Tom Chenault and Denise Chenault teach us with the coffee shop interview. Be more interested than interesting. That's so important. And then step 6, of course, is starting to earn income. That's where we get the thank you checks and the residual income kicks in. So the truth will set you free only if you want it, was the final little notation that they gave us. So do you have anything else, Marianne, to add to the section of getting started right?
Well, I think, I loved Yolanda and Raymond's video because they're so straightforward about, exactly what to do, but also, their team has one of the highest retention rates in all of longevity. And so these guys, they know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a long time. They're both great speakers, great leaders in longevity, and, hold the rank as 5 stars. So it was interesting about the books because I was like, those haven't been on my list before, so I've got to put them on there. And I think just overall, make sure you watch that video and listen to what they're talking about there. You did a great. Ironically, I just looked through, and I think I didn't have my binder with me when I took my notes when I watched that, and I took my notes. So it must be in a different book, but you did really good. It was totally all those things that I would say. Okay, so you want to plug people in right away to the university, and you want to get them started right, and that's what this is about. So plugging them in, as Pamela went through the little circle, and what we're doing, we're walking people through the system. And the other thing is to remember, because I think sometimes we get frustrated if people aren't committing to doing this, but it's got to be about them, and they've got to be committing. It's not our responsibility. We have to give them the tools, right? Show them the way. We are the what do you call the tour guide
and the messenger, not the message.
Right. They've got to get excited. This has to fit into their passion. This has to be around what they want to be doing. And sometimes the timing's not right, and they might get started. But here's what I have found is that people who really want to do this, they're going to do it with or without you. Okay? They're going to plug in. They're going to watch everything because they're excited. They know that it's going to move them towards their goals. They have goals around longevity. They have goals around their life. And so what you want to do is keep close to those people, right? Like Pamela said, no prejudging. But when somebody's plugged in, it's like the cream starts to come to the top, right? The people, and, Pamela knows who her leaders are. I know who my leaders are. You guys should know who your leaders are, because they're the people that are doing it. They're the people that are showing up. So I want to talk about the next section, which is staying connected. And I think it's so important. And the fact that we do these Zoom calls right now is revolutionary. We started these probably well over a year ago, but keeping connected and keeping, I think it was Scott Fardulis one time talked about your cell phone, right? If you don't plug it in and you don't keep it charged, it's basically just a paperweight. And what happens to people they might miss a Super Saturday, or they might not attend a call. And the next thing you know, they're not on this call. And the next thing you know, they forgot. They forgot what it's like to be connected and plugged into this community. And so we need to make sure that they get, reconnect. Life happens, who knows what goes on. We have all experienced it. But keeping them in the system, keeping them plugged into the arena of, the Facebook pages, follow Michelle Wallach and Steve Wallach and Dave Brisky and Sunshine Brisky. And there's so many other web pages which are, listed in here. The official Longevity page, not, someone else's Longevity page. The newsletter. A lot of people say, I'm not getting the newsletter. Well, they never opted in, or they have a different email and they're not using that email anymore. And so make sure your team, make sure they're getting the emails that they know they should be getting emails. If they're not getting emails, and many of it, like I have my team contact list that I, send information out to them too, and keeping people plugged in and getting them on to these different trainings and calls and what have you. And the resource center, it's really becoming a true resource in the sense of the calls are on there. Those all look legit now. The meeting locator, we now have a way to edit meetings, which is tremendous, because sometimes we wouldn't know certain people were going to be attending until the last week, and we couldn't put up that Dr. Wallach was going to be in town, or Leanne King, or Dr. Conaway, or Ben Fuchs, or whatever, right? Because maybe we're waiting on them. And so we kind of would go wrestle with ourselves. Do I post this event, or do I wait until I know all the details? Now we can put out the details early and keep adding to it. So that is a great part of the resources. And I always, there's going to be a big event in Utah. And so drive people to those events. That keeps people showing up. And these regional events, and like Pamela just had, her event in Orlando. And so make sure that your team knows these things are going on, because they might not be able to get all the way across the country, right, to a convention, say, or, to the mine tour in Utah. So you want them to know the local events that are happening around them so that they can attend those. And I think there's even going to be a university live in Kansas. Wichita, is it? I can't remember what, Kansas City, Kansas, somewhere in Kansas. Laney's doing that. Get on the Hair on Fire call. That is the best announcements and meat and potatoes. Part of it is motivation, and it's always great. Today we got to listen to a video that Tom did last night or this morning, wherever. And it was awesome. But for me, it kind of sets the tone for the day, as far as getting prepared and getting ready to jump in and do my business. Now, I do my business in the morning, then I go work for Tom, and then I have the evening. So part of what I'm doing for you guys, and what Pamela and I this is for everybody. This is for everybody's team out there. It's not just for us. And the fact that we're doing this to keep you guys plugged in and give you a good understanding of what this university, Longevity University is about. This is for you guys, right? We've been through this numerous times. So we want you guys to understand how to use it. Attend the events, plug in wherever. And the fact that we have the Zoom, where you can see people and really connect and really get to know people before the next event, which, in Colorado, we have a Super Saturday coming up in June 9th, excuse me. The NNP is going to be happening, whatever's coming up, events. Drive people to events and keep them plugged in. Pamela, what do you have to offer?
Well, I just want to reiterate everything you just said. Absolutely true. But also, again, YoungjevityRC.com. Go there, look for the calls and the events. Find the ones that you're going to resonate with best. There's a ton of stuff out there. You can't possibly do it all, but know what's there for the people when they come in for whatever their why is, whatever their particular passion is, and plug into the stuff that's going to get you going. And for me, just like Marianne said, it is that hair on fire call in the morning, 8:25 a.m. Eastern time. You get in, you say hello to everybody, you hear what's going on in the community, you find out what's going on for deals for the day, for events that are happening, little tidbits of information that's going to help you get through what you need to understand and know. And then hear Tom Chenault and other leaders give encouragement and enthusiasm to help you. And it does help. When you have that in the morning, it's going to pummel you into being able to be a better you, a better leader in this business. And I can't start my day without it. You know, no matter where I am, I like to plug in. Connecting with, following us, following other leaders that you resonate with. Remember that you need to understand our fan page, because we have Makeup Mondays, Deal Day Wednesdays, Chocolate Fridays. We have all these Facebook Live events, and there's perks and perks. So if you go to that facebook.com/Youngevity and follow that page, like that page, and interact with it, you could end up with some fun free stuff of stuff you had never tried before. So it's always worth it. Remember to go to facebook.com/Youngevity, Be the Change, for example. Follow us on Twitter at Youngevity, on Instagram at Youngevity Health, on Pinterest, Youngevity Essential Life Sciences. And remember to connect with our president and CFO, Dave Brisky. And so, when you get involved in all this, it becomes something that becomes a bigger part of you. And you can reach out and never feel like you're alone. Remember, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And these are the little bits of information that will help as you stay connected. Youngevity is your power source, as Cheryl Morley said, and you need to stay plugged in. Don't be a dead weight, paperweight like that phone that Scott Fardulas talked about that isn't charged or loaded up with information.
I want to say one other thing, because I know life goes on. I mean, things happen. I had a great friend. I've had two great friends pass away, and within a year's time, and it's hard. But here's what becomes really hard in your business: if you're not being consistent, if you're not keeping plugged in, if you're not moving along, and you stop for a period of time, the motion to get back connected and get going and get caught up again takes a long time, right? And so you might miss out on a month, and it might take you 90 days to get back coordinated. So what I think about is 90-day cycles. We talk about that. So what you're doing today, okay, is going to show up 90 days from today. What you do tomorrow is going to show up 90 days from today. What you do the next day, 90 days from today. If you don't do anything, all of a sudden, what's showing up? Nothing. And that's where people get frustrated, because all of a sudden, nothing's going on, and they don't realize that they started this 90 days earlier of taking a month off and not keeping consistent, not keeping plugged in. And seriously, you could do this business an hour or two a day. Really, if you're very focused on those times that you're plugging in and doing whatever it is that you need to do, calling people, following up with people, right, having those conversations. And if everybody in your team was putting 1 to 2 hours a day, every day, into their business, okay, if you want to take off Sunday, but being consistent and never quitting is what will make you successful in this business. Okay, so now let's talk about the 30, 60, and 90 days. And what do you want to be accomplishing? And I'm going to screen share this just real quick in case you don't have the printout in front of you. Hang on here. Then you can kind of see what I'm dealing with to see what I should be clicking on. I'm like, Now, is it over here? Is it over there? Okay. But this is step 8, your first 60, watch the video, obviously, listen to what Alex talks about and getting started in the 8. But the first 30 days, Yolanda and Raymond talked about that first 24 to 48 hours and getting people plugged in, getting them plugged into the university, right? Getting them into action, earn their first $100, earn their first $200, whatever it is, you figure out what it is they're looking for and get that so that people can start getting a little thank you check. Eric Worre did this whole thing, a training about crossing the line. And what he said was, when people are on, pretend like this is a line. When people are on this side of the line, they're not in yet, even though they've enrolled, okay? But when they cross the line, they go to an event, right? Or they cross the line, they get a paycheck. There are huge statistics around that as to how people will stick in this business. If they've gone to a convention, right? If they've gotten a paycheck, people who, there's this 80-20 rule, I think it was, it's like 80% of the people that don't get a check within their first 30 days will probably quit, something along those lines, right? But 80% of the people that get a check in that first 30 days will probably stay, right? So 20% may leave, but that 80% is going to stay. And it's the same thing about events. And it's the same thing about keeping people plugged in. So crossing that line, think about that when you get some, I've got some new people going to convention this year, and I'm so excited because I think once they see that, once they're there and they get to be a part of that community, it just keeps them longer. Very few people who go to conventions and have that commitment, leave. They may not do the business, but they're still ordering product, okay? All right, and then your first 60 days, use your upline and events, get your new people started right, get them plugged in, set your site on rank advancing to 1 star, so whatever that looks like, and earn their first $500. Let me tell you, when somebody earns a $500 check, that's a big deal. And, it could be 300, it could be, 400, whatever it is that you're, that they're committing, that they want to earn, right? Because it's about them. It's not about you. It's their commitment to themselves, to their dreams, to their goals that you got in the beginning when you talked to them about their why and why are they here. Okay. And then the first 90 days, we talked about this, right? If you're in for these first 90 days, help 3 of their team members advance to sales associate. So what does that look like? And help them advance to 1 star, earn their first $1,000. Okay, now they're in. Now they know that they can do this. And it just keeps, getting bigger and bigger. And congratulate on getting them started with longevity. Make sure to get on an auto ship. You cannot build this business if people are not on auto ships. That is your residual income. And so you've got to get your business builders need to understand that residual income, auto ships is what is going to get them those $1,000 checks, the $500 checks, the $100 checks, because they're going to earn bonuses along the way. But what's really going to move them forward in their dreams and their goals is their residual. All right. Then here's the first 30 days key factors, which is really good. I watched this a long time ago. I haven't watched it just recently. But okay, Pamela, what do you want to offer? What do you got?
Well, when I watched Alex Tice do the whole video for this section, the focus for him was that first 30 days, because that is the critical part. It's the part where people solidify their commitment, and it's also where the majority of people get lost. So, if they are going to stay or they're not going to stay, those first 30 days are crucial. He said that if you get them to earn their first $100 in the compensation plan before then, their subconscious is telling them that they can't, but now their subconscious is saying, this is real. They know how to do it, and they're teaching me how, as you as the leader. So that's a very important mindset for them to understand, for the new person in the business with you. Those first 48 hours set the tone for the first 30 days. Because remember, we talked about those 24 to 48 hours. That's also where that regret of the purchase comes in. So sometimes people will get the box and never even open the box. And so Alex will tell us, make sure you call them and say, or text them, did you get your box yet? And call them and say, did you open the box? And it may sound superfluous, but truthfully, ask them, did you open the box? Because sometimes they'll set it aside and they'll say, oh, yeah, I got it. I just haven't had a chance to open it yet. They don't even know what they have. They haven't had a chance to experience it yet. So say, open it up. It's like Christmas. What did you get? Oh, that's the one that helps you with this. Oh, that's this, and just be excited with them so they feel like they're not regretting what they did, because they're that little guy on their shoulder, the bad guy that's telling them that they can't or they won't. You have to punch that guy in the nose and help them to understand that, we're here to help them no matter what. This isn't just what's the old bad word of recruit and scoot. We're here to help them through the process. So right through in those first 30 days, get them to go through the getting started training. It's critical. So they know there's a process, and they also know how they can teach other people to be able to do the same. Introduce them to the upline and to all the events that Marianne was talking about, and make sure you understand why they are doing this so that you can reflect that back. Remember, you told me you wanted to set aside money for your children to go to college. This is your big why. This is what you're doing it for, that kind of a thing, whatever it will be for that person individually. And the how will take care of itself if the why is strong enough. I thought that was really powerful. So if you can help them to get to that underlying important why, then the how is all going to fall into place as long as they understand the dynamics. And then to go down farther, we talk about in their first 90 days, helping them to become sales associate. Even better, remember that Tom Chenault teaches us about the brick rank. And the brick rank actually is senior associate. So if they can have the 200 personal qualifying volume of product and bring in 3 people that each have 100 and help them to understand and do the same thing, they can become 1 star in no time. You start thinking about that. Think about the volume that's generated. If all these people are adding the volume into the team, that's all they have to do. That's not that big of a deal when you think about what is required. If people are just doing the basic 90 for life, that's a very easy thing to satisfy if you have a 1 or 2 person home, right? So think about that. Think about how you can help them to find that level of success and to create it in their team. So I hope that helps a little bit.
That's perfect. And good. Oh, you're over here too. Okay, I've got you back. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions, feedback, anything they want us to address or talk about more? Or you guys have all been so nice and quiet. And Loretta's on there. And Melissa. We got two of the Lorettas. All right. Does anybody have any questions or anything? No?
Just unmute yourself or type in the little chat.
In the chat, or I can unmute you. Let's just unmute everybody. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, wait. Oh, everybody's unmuted. Anybody want to add or ask a question? No? Good. Well, then we did our job.
I think we did our part.
I think we did. Very good. All right. Well, I hope you guys hook into this and hook your team into this. And thank you, Pamela. Thanks for your commitment.
Oh, thank you.
And I know numerous people have been watching the videos on a later date. And then we have the Rapid Funnel webinar is at 7 tonight. So I know some people. Oh, thank you, Melissa. She said, I think y'all, I love it.
She's so cute. I love Melissa.
Y'all, because I used to say y'all all the time. And I'm
Oklahoma,
right? I always said I was fixing to do things. And everybody's like, what are you fixing to do? I don't get it. But anyway, thank you very much for that. And yeah.
And we still need to talk about what we're going to do going forward. Marianne and I will discuss what it is that what book we'll do or what training we'll do. And then we'll let you know, when we're going to get started again with that.
Yep. And then
hey, will your rapid final, will that be recorded?
Yes.
Okay. Masters of Enrollment.
I posted the recording on the Facebook page. Are you on the Masters of Enrollment Facebook page?
I think so. Is that where it's at?
Yeah, that's where I posted the recording.
Okay. I missed that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we recorded last week, and we'll record this week as well. And we stuff, so but it was really good last week, wasn't it, Pamela? I mean,
it was terrific. I love it. I'm not going to be able to be on tonight because of Andy's birthday, but I look forward to watching the recording of that, and then again on Thursday.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So thank you. Oh, and give Andy hugs and kisses from us all.
I will.
Tell him happy birthday.
Yeah. I will. Thank you so much.
All right. You guys have a great evening. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
You God bless.